Hi, welcome to another presentation in a series of Raz-Lee security and auditing tips. Today we will discuss the topic of identity theft, hijacking IBM user profiles. The need. Identity theft has become a global issue. Here are some facts. In the US alone, identity fraud occurs every 2 seconds. Data breaches are one of the main sources of fraud. And the Aberdeen Group has estimated that $221 million a year is lost by businesses worldwide due to identity theft. As you can see by these facts, identity theft is a major issue today, and it exists also as a major issue on the IBM i. The technique of hijacking another user's profile on the IBM i and acting on that user's behalf is a form of identity theft. So using the technique of hijacking, as we will later discuss, you can then perform a variety of activity that in essence falls under the category of identity theft. So what are the implications? Well, if a user on the IBM i has minimum use rights to another user profile, then what he can do is simply he can submit a job which in turn he can refer to the hijacked user's profile, which he has authority to, and therefore run that job under that user profile. He could also execute a swap using IBM's APIs in order to hijack that user profile, and in turn run a job under that user profiles. These methods will then provide the user with the authority of the hijacked user profile. And if the hijacked user profile is a power user or has all object authority, then you can imagine the kind of damage that he can do to an IBM i, its applications, its system. He can even back up information and take it offline and in turn view sensitive information. So what's the resolution? What's the solution? Well, a solution should be full-featured and flexible to be able to, firstly, to identify these vulnerabilities that we discussed, and also to initiate real-time actions when these situations come about on your IBM i. And last but not least is to be able to prevent these type of activities, these hijacking activities. Raz-Lee's iSecurity suite incorporates 5 categories: auditing, protection, database, evaluation, and management. In this presentation, we will review our report generator and the actions and alert modules. The report generator can help to identify if there's a potential hijacking going on your system, and in turn the actions and alerts module can act as a multifunctional response to the hijacking. Let's review the reports and action modules, the workflow, and how we can deal with some of these type of hijackings. Well, if you want to deal with identification of vulnerability in the user profiles, then you would firstly create a user profile vulnerability report, which you would in turn reference the type of object that you want to know the authority of. In this case, it would be a user profile, and you would want to see the authority of star public on that user profile. At that point in time, after you've created the report, you can execute the report and therefore identify any issues. And at that point, you can trigger modifications to your user profile's authorities in order to prevent these vulnerabilities. Dealing with the swap situation, you can create a swap action script, which is under the Actions and Alert module. And this action script would be receiving relevant parameters relating to the job and to the user. You can evaluate the event with these parameters and then execute your own custom procedures in order how to handle the swap. When the swap is executed, it will be executed real time, and this script will be executed because there is a monitoring real time of a swap activity, and the script is then invoked. Here's an example of the report generators creating user profile vulnerability report. This is an object authority type of report, and here we're dealing with the type of object being a user profile. The user profile name on the object authority, we're looking for star public, and the object authority is if it's not equal to exclude. So what this simply means is that on this report, any star public, if it has any other values except exclude, meaning change, use, and so forth and so on, that is considered a vulnerability. You could also create a report to specify any other user other than star public with the same conditions, which will give you special authorities for users, for any users on the object of user profile. That's another angle to this report that can show you vulnerabilities. At that point, you would run the report, and here's the report where the profiles will be listed that are not star exclude in terms of authority. These are considered vulnerabilities. Here we have the object name, which is of course a user profile. Here is the type of user, star public, and in this case we have user defined on star public. Next, we'd like to handle scripts relating to alerts and actions to deal with swapping. Here we have an action script. We give it a name swap, and in turn this script we want to incorporate some commands to handle the actual swap. In this case we're executing an end job. As you can see, we're receiving the job parameters from real time from the actual event. And we also want to run a user-defined program, a custom program to handle this specific situation in real time. Now, how do we execute this script? Well, we go into Raz-Lee's definition for rules for dealing with any kind of audit event, and we're going to be dealing with it real time. And the audit type is going to be PS, which is a profile swap. And here we are referencing the actual swap script that we've defined in the previous slide in order to execute real time those two commands that we've defined. Identity theft, hijacking IBM user profiles. What can we conclude? Well, we can conclude that the IBM I is vulnerable to identity theft, and it's vulnerable by executing those hijacking user profile techniques we've discussed. So you should ask yourself these questions with regards to your environment. Is your system vulnerable? Can you identify if and when a particular identity theft has occurred? Can you react to it real time? Can you audit the effects of the identity theft? And can you protect against it? A solution is needed to address all these issues in your environment in order to resolve the identity theft situation. And Raz-Lee's report generator and actions module, they'll provide you with all the functionality you'll need to handle the hijacking of IBM user profiles and to prevent the identity theft. Are you being hijacked? This ends another presentation in a series of Raz-Lee security and auditing tips. Thank you.